Leaguers, welcome to the spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we're here for another edition of the Runaways Weekly One-Shot. Say that 5 times fast, everybody. We're talking about episode 4 this week. We're going to give you our top 3 power rankings, and we're also going to give you our top 3 bum asses of the week. DeepBoyce, Runaways is good. Runaways is great. We're getting into it. What's your number 3 for this week?
Yeah. Real quick, it's episode 4, titled 15.
Okay.
That's kind of confusing.
That is very confusing.
But
I'm glad you put it out there, though.
Yeah, just for reference. So, top 3 power rankings and top 3 bum asses.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into it. My third, or I guess rounding off the list for power rankings here, is, I don't know this character's name. And maybe there's a name out there somewhere, but he is someone that Carolina's mother is taking care of. We don't know if it's his father. Well, I hope it's not her father. But he's in my top 3 power rankings because in this episode, it seemed like he got it in with Leslie Dean. She got up in the bed, and then you see some glowing Dinnock. I don't know what was going on. She was rubbing up on his golden crusty chest. It was.
The one thing I do know is that if they did have some coitus right afterwards, my man needs to jump in like a pool of lotion, man. My man looks like me in like the winter, like minus 20 degrees, bro. He is ashier than ashy, man. My man looks like he survived a volcanic eruption. My man's skin is dusty, my man. Could sweep him with a broom, son.
He looks like a human Danish treat. That's what the man looks like. That guy is super crusty. But listen, Leslie Dean, that's a good-looking woman.
That is a good-looking woman, man.
Shout outs to your boy Psycho Mantis, whoever the hell that is.
Psycho Mantis. Shout out to Metal Gear Solid, man. Psycho Mantis.
I mean, my man is putting like literally no effort. He's asleep the whole time.
He was like, warm me. She got naked real quick and she hopped in that bed. He was like, warm me. A man had his Bane mask on. He's like, warm me, woman. She hopped up in there real quick and lit it up, man. That's a good number 3, man. My number 3 is also somebody who put in this work, man, this week, man. Number 3 on my power rankings list is the hobo that whooped Victor Stein's ass. My man, listen, bro. My man was playing possum, son. He was sleeping. He was like, yo, I bet you, let a mother sucker come up to me and try to rob me. Let a mother sucker come up to me and try to kidnap me. I'm sitting in this wheelchair, I'm sleeping. Yeah, as soon as Victor Stein got close, he said, "Pa!" Hit the other dude in the face, hit Mr. Manure in the face, put Victor Stein in a chokehold using his own crowbar, using Victor Stein's own crowbar. I was like, yo, the hobo out here putting in work.
He hit him with the CQC.
He hit him with that close quarters combat.
You know the start menu for Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yeah.
He sat there. He probably watched it for like half an hour straight, just observing those moves, the CQC. He definitely remembers the basics of CQC.
My man was having Vietnam flashbacks, man. I don't know what. My man took him and put him in a chokehold. He was like John Rambo for like those 30 seconds. Cops came up, whoop whoop. Victor Stein looked like a bum ass, bro. More on that later, sir. More on that later. But that's my number 3. DeepBoyce, who you got for number 2 on your power rankings list?
Number 2 is actually one of the villains here. I don't know. I mean, there are a couple characters in the show that are vying for like number 1 villain. Okay. They keep one-upping each other, but for my number 2 spot, I'm gonna have to give it up to Tina Minoru, aka Nico Minoru's mother. She was holding it down this episode. She was not messing around, keeping tabs
for sure
on the Yorks.
Yeah,
keeping tabs on her husband. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's gonna start. I mean, enjoy that actor while you can.
Enjoy Janice Stein while you can, sir. Because with her sleuthing, son, she's going to find you, bro. And you might just lose your penis as a result, sir. Because she's going to come for you, my man. Hey, I ain't gonna say nothing about that, man. That's a great pick, man. That's a great pick at number 2, man.
I mean, it's either her or Alex Wilder's mom. Those are the two that are like holding it down in terms of the most villainous, the ones calling the shots. And it might be interesting if they butt heads in the future. That'd be an interesting, I guess, clash.
Yeah, that might be interesting because those Pride members don't exactly seem buddy all the time. Yeah, it almost seems like their relationship is a little bit strained.
And you know what I mean? It seems like something happened to I'm forgetting the one girl's the adopted girl's parents.
Molly Hernandez.
Molly Hernandez, yeah. It seems something happened there. Yeah. Maybe they wanted out. And I don't know, Tina or the rest of the Pride had something to do with taking them out. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if that's
There's definitely something mysterious.
Yeah.
There's definitely something mysterious with their deaths, man. I agree. I mean, we're definitely going to find out. And once again, I got more on that later, man. I ain't going to say nothing about that for now.
All right.
But my number 2 this week is actually the daughter of Tina Minoru, Nico Minoru, putting in work this week. First of all, in the flashback scene where we see, her sister's death scene. Mm-hmm. First of all, let me just say that death scene seems super suspicious. Yes. And I very much think Tina Minoru and her father had something to do with that, and that just is a terrible look. Like, that's your daughter. That just does not look good. And that kind of made me feel sick to my stomach because I'm like, that's your parents right there. You know what I mean? Doing some devious stuff. But that being said, Nico was doing some sleuthing. She found out that even in that flashback moment, it seemed that she knew that there was a policeman in her parents' pocket, so to speak. And, that further came into fruition later on in the episode where she, who has the most courage out of all the would-be runaways, to go to police, to tell them what's been going down. She has that moral conviction, and she actually spots that same cop that was at her house the day her sister died. She's like, yo, Alex, we gotta bounce. But Nico, I appreciated the fact that she had, the morals and the spine to do what she had to do. Because there are some of the would-be runaways that are even doubting that their parents are, villains. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I appreciated Nico and what she was doing. And her and Alex, just holding it down on that front. But Nico taking the lead, I like that very much. Because, in the comics, eventually, Nico does end up leading the Runaways team. And, it just showed that conviction that we know that, she's going to have later on. But anyway, DeepBoyce.
I'm actually piggyback off on that. Because for my number 1 pick on my power rankings for this week, episode 4.
Okay.
Called 15. I actually picked Nico Minoru.
That's a great pick. I had a feeling you were going to pick her based on picking Tina Minoru. Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to pick that. Because my number 1 is actually Tina Minoru. So, for very much of the same reasons that you said. But, I mean, I guess we could talk about them in tandem, man. Like, what'd you feel about Nico this week?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I echo a lot of the sentiments that you had. I mean, she took the initiative. She did the smart thing. She did the reasonable thing. I mean, honestly, that's the thing that anyone in that situation should most likely do. And it didn't quite work out, but it wasn't her fault, really. Because, I mean, this is a plot that's a lot greater, and the kids are kind of way in over their heads. And in this episode, it really seemed like they were kind of floundering, and even maybe just kind of taking a step back from everything that happened. If you look at Gertrude and Molly, they were just like, let's we're with the family again. Let's talk about this dinosaur and all this other stuff. And Chase and Carolina, they were kind of hitting it off with, I guess, a budding relationship. But Nico was kind of staying on point, obviously because she probably had the most to lose there. Her sister seemed to be caught up in whatever's going on here.
Right.
And even Alex, who was the one that was really kind of pushing the team to really investigate this, he didn't take the unsure. He seemed a little unsure, and he took a questionable step by taking his dad's gun. Again, I can kind of understand what he was going for, but sure. I mean, come on, kid. You don't know the first thing about it and that kind of stuff.
Guns are bad, kids. Yeah. And the hands off the merchandise. No guns for kids. No. But no, I mean, I respect what you're saying, man. Like, I feel like Nico was holding it down, like you said. For me, Tina Minoru was number 1 just because I just loved her machinations, man. I mean, she was out here. First of all, she's manipulating the circumstance of her own daughter's death. Like, that ain't devious. I don't know what is. she's out here, stalking the Yorks, hiring somebody to basically see what they're up to. She finds out that the Yorks actually want to run away to some type of, remote plot of land that Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, Molly's parents, had left them in the will. And she sort of just, she comes up to them straight up. She's like, "Oh, you weren't at the pride meeting? I know you wasn't about to run away." And they was like, "Oh my God!" Like, you can literally see. I mean, they were so emotional that, like, when we first see the Yorks, they're so like cool and they're joking around. They're very nerdy and geeky. Like, they got super serious. Like, Tina Manuro's presence just shook them. Even like when they had that emergency pride meeting, and Victor Stein, who I'm gonna talk about later, didn't have the sacrifice that they needed, and she sent her husband with Stein to go, and the husband was like, "I got plans, man." And she was like, "Well, clear your plans." And he was like, "Damn."
Word.
And 2 seconds later, he was out there, son. Like, there was no, he didn't see him on the phone like, "Sorry, I got to cancel some meeting." My man was out there, son. She laid down the law, and my man was like, "Yo, I gotta go." She said so, even though he's creeping on her. You know what I mean? With Janet Stein, he was like, "Nah, I gotta." He's like, "Yo, she's laying down the law right now." So the Manuru mother and daughter duo holding down the top spots for the power rankings for DeepBoyce and myself, respectively. But DeepBoyce, it's time to swing over to some bum asses this week, man. We talking about the worst of the worst this week. We talking about the people who just disappointed us the most, or things that disappointed us the most. DeepBoyce, what do you got at number 3?
At number 3, I got Chase Stein for two reasons. Two reasons.
Okay.
First of all, they had a bit of a scuffle. Chase Stein and his lacrosse teammates for what happened. I think it was episode 1, where they were trying to take advantage of Carolina at the party.
Yes.
And so they had an encounter yet again in this episode, and basically they had a fight. And I noticed Chase Stein had a real corny line that I just had to write him down for this, because the kid was like, "Oh, well, I have a black eye and a fractured rib." And Chase Stein replies by saying, "Well, luckily you have 23 other ribs." And I'm thinking to myself, 23 ribs?
He's like, "You're about to have." He's like, "I got a broken rib. You're about to have 23 more." I was like, "Sir." I was like, to his credit, he did that line. Greg Sulkin, the actor that plays Chase, did that line the best he could. I don't think it was his fault, but that was a corny ass line, bro.
It was. I
don't know how many ribs are in the human body, but that made me want to pull out some of mine. It was so painful. I was like, I gotta pull out. I was like, let me take out some of my ribs, man. I was like, let me end things right here for me, because I can't watch this. Totally feel you on that one, sir. Totally feel you on that one.
And the other reason I put him at number 3 is for the name of his invention that you see towards it, at the end of the episode. When it finally seems like him and his father bond on something, and his father's like, "What do you call this?" And he's like, "I call these the Fistagons."
Listen, it's not his fault. That's from the comics. That's straight out from the comics. But that is a whack ass name, bro. And the way he said it, he was like, "Fistagons." It was like, he had that smile on his face, and it was a wink nod to the fans of the Runaways comics. Like, I totally understand that. But that's one of those bum ass moments that transcends the show. Like, that's like the people who wrote this comic. That's like a bum ass name, bro. Like, Fistagons is a bad name. But let's swing over to my number 3.
Yes,
my bum ass. Number 3 bum ass this week for me, Mr. Frank Dean. Okay, the husband of Carolina's mother. Now, my man is out here straight up getting cucked, everybody. Straight out getting cucked, man. I mean, his wife is over here cuddling with this crusty man or whatever in a bed, and he's like, "Oh, you cheating on me?" She's like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, I was meditating on you going ultra." And she gives him this crazy like seductive kiss, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ultra." And she gives him that hug, and she gives him that wry smile, like, "Yo, I'm pretty sure he's about to be the next sacrifice," because they getting desperate. I'm like, "Bro, man, wake up, open your eyes, man. You about to be dead."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just was like, man, Frank Dean, you out here getting cucked, man. I'm sorry, I gotta put you on the bum ass list, man, because your wife disappears for a couple days and she says I'm meditating. You're just like, "Oh, cool." No, you need to kick that door down. You need to get in there and figure this out. That's suspect, sir. Okay, Frank Dean, step your game up. DeepBoyce, Number 2 bum ass for the week. Who you got?
Number 2 bum ass are the lacrosse teammates, as well as whatever that random girl was at the end of that exchange in the episode.
Yeah.
I was like, man, all these guys are bum asses, man. These kids were clearly in the wrong, and they're over here forcing. They want Chase Stein to apologize for what they did. They look at it and get the ass kicked worse than that. And then obviously this random girl not knowing. I mean, she's like the human embodiment of Twitter, of the internet. Just like giving the most serious and most grave just opinion on something she knows nothing about.
She over here giving her revisionist history on the situation. Come on, man.
Unbelievable. Come
on, man.
The whole lacrosse team, the coach, that girl, put him in a school bus and get him the hell out of here. I'm glad Chase left that team.
Yeah, agreed. That was a fine decision on his part, man. My number 2, DeepBoyce. And this is the second week in a row, mind you, this person, for me, is on the bum-ass list. Molly Hernandez, okay? Molly, let me talk to you, girl. Girl, let me talk to you. I know you're young. I know you're not wise. I know, age and wisdom, you don't have that wisdom yet. But Alex Wilder's mom, like, we still think she killed somebody, okay? Mm-hmm. I understand that she was like, oh, she'll answer all the questions you have about your mother. But she's sending an email to her, and she's asking her, like, the worst questions that would obviously make this woman be like, okay, you need to stop digging. It would make her suspicious. Like, she's like, hey, were any of my parents super strong? Did they do any secret experiments? I mean, what happened to the night they died? I'm like, girl, you jumping in head first into a situation you do not want to get in. Like, those are the worst questions to ask somebody who you cannot trust at this point, man.
That's a good one. I honestly didn't catch who she was sending the email to.
It was Alex Wilder's mom. Like when your parents, when you're doing something you weren't supposed to do, your parents just say to their teeth, like, get over here. I was like, Molly, get over here. I was like, what are you doing, man? But DeepBoyce, man, who you got for number 1? Numero uno, number 1 bum ass of the week. Who you got, my friend?
And number 1, I wouldn't be surprised if this is both our number 1s. I'm gonna throw that out there and guess. I suspect that this character, Victor Stein, is our number 1.
He's my bum ass. You know me too well. He's my number 1 too, man. DeepBoyce, what's your reasoning, man?
I mean, first of all, okay, he's sick. Something's going on with the guy. I don't know if he's sick or he's having withdrawals from whatever drugs he's taking. Something's wrong with the guy.
He was hallucinated from like last week. Yeah, he'd been hallucinating, and it got worse.
He was hallucinating. He had a hostage in his van, and it just mysteriously disappeared. We don't know if he was hallucinating a hostage being there or if he lost the hostage. And then obviously he had the bright idea of trying to find another person, and he picked like the Frank Castle of bums to go up against.
He picked the wrong hobo, man. Yeah. He picked the wrong hobo, man. Put him in a chokehold. I was like, Victor Stein, bro. And he's out here broadcasting his plan in broad daylight. Yo, I'm going to hit him on the head with a crowbar. He's like, we got to hit him on the head with a crowbar, man. We got to hit him on the head with a crowbar. I was like, my man put you in a chokehold. And he was struggling, too. Like, the hobo put in that work on Victor Stein. Victor Stein was a sweaty mess this episode. I mean, he just didn't know. He just seemingly didn't know what was going on with himself. He's like, oh, this malaria medicine from my South Africa trip. I'm like, I don't know, dog. You over here seeing dead people. He was seeing Destiny. Last week, he's over here thinking there's somebody in his car. He's got music blasting. And, there's nobody in the van when he gets to his destination. I was like, Victor Stein, number 1 bum mess of the week. Me and DeepBoyce, we're in sync this week. That being said, DeepBoyce, we are wrapping it up right here, right now. Let us know in the comments below what your top 3 power rankings are for the Runaways episode 4. Let us know who your top 3 bum asses were this week. Let us know if you disagree or agree with our list this week. And by all means, support the Spectacular Spoil League by hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications. Hit that little bell icon, everybody, so you can be up to date with the latest and greatest coming from the Spectacular Spoil League. Drop a like for us to help this video get out there, people. We need your help. That being said, me and DeepBoyce, we're running away from this conversation. Peace out.